Good morning, boys and girls. I can say good morning today because today we're filming on Saturday morning and it's early. You're probably all still in bed. But I know that you're probably done with another week at school, and I'm wearing my mask today because I think this is going to be a thing of the future for the next while. So I'm going to keep it on today as I talk to you, so if every once in a while I'm pushing my mask up, it tends to fall down my nose. And since we breathe through our nose as well as our mouth, I have to keep on pushing it up a little bit. But anyway, I'll certainly talk as clearly as I can so that you can hear me. And our story today, our world is really in a turmoil right now, and I'm sure you've heard it. This person doesn't like that person because of something they think, or this person doesn't like that person because of something they wear. This person doesn't like that person because they have a different color skin than we do, or than you do. It just goes on and on and on. And one of the things that Jesus was the strongest about in the Bible, in the New Testament, when he came to earth to give us a new gospel and a new way to worship God and our people, he gave us the commandment, thou shalt love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might, and your neighbor as yourself. And of all the commandments that I try to live on each day is that love commandment. I think it is probably one of the most important gifts that God gave us. He gave us the gift of his Son, which is the greatest gift of all, and he gave it to us so that we could be with him sometime in eternity. And this is just the greatest promise God could ever give us, and it came out of his love for us. So the story that I tried to find today was about love. It's an old story from the Old Testament again that very much points out which direction God was going in the New Testament by giving us his Son to die on the cross so that we could be saved also. But this is a story about love. And it's about Ruth and Naomi. And since my name is Ruth, I'm kind of partial to this story. But I'm partial to it primarily because it is a wonderful, wonderful love story. And it's not the romantic love that we see on TV. There's a little bit of that at the end, but it's more of that love that we have for each other, that love that you have for your mother, that love you have for your father, grandparents, aunts and uncles, the very best friend you have. You love that person, but it's not in a romantic Hollywood kind of love. It's a love deep inside your heart that you carry with you every day. And you know that you'll forgive that person a lot of things because you love them so much. And so this is probably the oldest book or story that really talks about God's love and what he does for us as people. So I'll shut up now and we'll get into the story. It is called Ruth and Naomi Help Each Other. A famine had scorched the land called Judah, and Judah was where the Jews had lived. And they said, let's move to the land of Moab, said Elimelech. There is food in Moab. So Elimelech packed up his possessions and his family and traveled to Moab. Elimelech and his family worshipped God, and he knew that they would protect him. We will live in Moab, said Elimelech. Naomi, his wife, and their sons unpacked and settled in the land of Moab. Over the years, Naomi watched her two sons grow into fine young men. Each son found a wife among the Moabites and married them. One day Elimelech died. Both of Naomi's sons died. Naomi talked with Ruth and Orpah, her daughters-in-law. At that time, and I'll just explain a little bit here, at the time of the Old Testament, women were not allowed to live by themselves. The men always said they had to have someone taking care of them and living with them. So even though they're left as widows or without their husbands, they really aren't allowed to carry on life as they knew it before. They can't own land. They couldn't do the things the men did in the town. So a lot of times there was a uncle or someone that would take these women in and take care of them. That was just a tradition back then. It was kind of like if my husband passed away and I had a brother-in-law, the brother-in-law might take care of me because I can't live by myself. Our husbands are dead, said Naomi. I am going back to Judah. See, they're looking at the crops that they can't get to grow. And it's the three women, and there really isn't a great deal they can do at this point. I think it would be best if you two returned to your mother's houses and lived there until you married again. And this is Naomi saying to her two daughter-in-laws, go back with your families because I can't take care of you. We don't want to leave you, cried the women. But Naomi said, it is for the best. So Orpah sadly kissed her mother-in-law goodbye. But Ruth, however, stayed. She didn't want to leave her mother-in-law. I can't leave you by yourself, said Ruth. Where will you go? Where you go, I will go. While you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. What a promise Ruth had made to her mother-in-law. She basically is saying, I'm going to take on your life, and I'm going to walk with you, and I'm going to help take care of you, and I will be by your side. So Naomi and Ruth traveled back to Judah to the town of Bethlehem. Well, that is a great, great, great love. Because Ruth could go back with her mom and dad and her mother and father if they were still alive, or maybe a sister and brother, but she chose to stay with Naomi. After arriving in the fields in Judah, Naomi saw a man working with his servant in the fields. Naomi said to Ruth, that man is Boaz. He is a distant relative of mine. See if you can meet him. Maybe if he likes you, he might marry you someday. It was all about getting married because they had to be connected with a man. So Ruth began working with the servants in the field of Boaz. She worked hard every day, all day long. Who is that woman, Boaz asked one of his servants. The servant said, well, I talked to her earlier. She came back with your relative, Naomi. Her name is Ruth, and she is from Moab. Look at how she's working so hard in the field. I want you to remember as I'm going through this is all about love and human nature. Boaz walked up to Ruth. Hello, thank you for helping me. If you get thirsty, there's water in the jars over there. Thank you, said Ruth. Just follow the girl servants and do what they do. And don't let the men servants bother you. They can be rough sometimes. Thank you so much for showing me kindness. Now this is where we get into the romantic love a little bit. Soon Ruth and Boaz fell in love. One day he married Ruth and took care of her and Naomi. Ruth and Boaz had a son named Obed. Obed grew up and had a son named Jesse. When Jesse grew up, he had 7 sons, one of whom became King David. Yes, Ruth was the great-grandmother of King David. And King David was a great Christian in the Old Testament that really led the Jewish people through a lot of things. And sometimes at Christmas time, you'll might hear a song or see a sign about the root of Jesse. Well, this is from Ruth, because Jesse, the roots of Jesse, which was when he was born, he was the son or the father of King David. It's really confusing, but you know, there's so many stories in the Old Testament that tell us about the stories in the New Testament of Jesus coming. And a lot of it is predictions in the Old Testament that or promises that this is going to happen. And Jesus' roots go way back to the early Jewish people in the Old Testament. They were all so happy, and look at how happy they were. So we've run the gambit of love. We've talked about love for a husband. We've talked about love for a mother-in-law and staying with somebody and not wanting to go back to what you had before because you wanted to live with them and love them. The kind of love that Jesus wants us to give to each other is unconditional love. And that's a big word, but what he means by unconditional love is he wants us to love everybody the way they are, where they stand, what they look like, how they act, and regardless of how we think about them, we still are to love them. And they may be different than us, they may look different than us, they may live differently than we do, but God's greatest commandment is you shall love your God, and then love yourself, and then love your neighbors as yourself. Those are the three greatest loves in the world. You have a great week. I hope things go well. COVID is on the rampage again for the fall with all our flu and everything. That's why I kept my mask on today, I'm sure this is how you do things at school. So I wanted you to know that I wear one all the time. I wear one whenever I go anywhere, and I just feel like it's the only thing that we can do to keep ourselves safe. So love your family, love Jesus, love your friends, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye-bye.